Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of field command and advanced battlefield tactics. And we continue our late game campaign here. We do a very brief overview of our campaign here. We'll show you around a little bit, and then we will show you the tracks that I'm looking at and considering following, because it looks like the enemy's about to make an attack here. So we hold Epicrotia. To the north, the Sturgians are back at war with us, so it's war with everybody. We have two separate armies out here, two allied armies. They're both of about 1,000 men. And I noticed these tracks when I came to Epicrotia here. We just finished a battle. We loaded up with reinforcements. We've got a super stacked army, and it really does appear that this Aserai force just headed north, probably to siege that castle, but more than likely going to attack our forces up there. So we're taking our stacked army here. We've got a very powerful army right now, and I say that from the perspective of troops. Probably 80% of our army right now is tier 5 or 6. We got more Aserai forces down here, and as usual it looks like there must be something exciting going on here, because there are multiple forces converging, although this just might be part of the same army that's heading up there. It's multiple Aserai forces. So the armies up there might be able to take care of themselves, but as is often the case in our campaign, we are overwhelmed with enemies. And okay, so there's two armies here. There's Battania and Aserai. It looks like about 3,300 men. Whoa. And that is way more than that. So there's a huge amount of Sturgians that looks like have joined the battle here opportunistically to try to. Both of our armies are now engaged. They're under 1,000 men. We're going to try to rush up here and save these armies from destruction. Now there's other forces converging, it appears, probably being called to these armies. But as you can see, we are ready for battle here. We've got about as strong an army as we've had in quite some time. All our companions are at 100% health. We're going to go ahead and enter this battle, even though it looks like we're going to be significantly outnumbered. The Sturgian forces aren't in a big army, but they're in these little individual army groups just attacking like fucking piranhas here. Okay, so this is a lot of troops. This is 5,300 against our 2,100. It looks like the original force there of our two forces are down to 600. We're going to do player damage a little bit here. We do have the RTS mod as well, so if I do get dropped from my horse, we can keep on playing. This should be a very challenging battle, even though we have a stacked army, and it may... Yeah, it did. It just drops us right in. Anytime you join a battle that's already in progress, what it does is it just dumps you in like this. So I'm assessing the battlefield here. See what we got. We have a very short ridge here that we can try to defend with a bit of a decline slope ridge strategy, right? Peekaboo ridge strategy. I'm right at the back of the map, evidently, so I can't move our units back any further. That's suboptimal. We'll put our archers at the back here. Probably use our cav as distractionary forces. As you can see, I have almost no cav. I have 68 cav, or excuse me, almost no infantry, and I have 68 heavy cav. So we're going to have to use our cavalry as shield walls, and as a little bit as our fighting force, as our main infantry here, as their forces come in. So let's see. So it's Battania, Sturgia, and what was the last one? Aserai. Okay, that's a pretty nasty combo. So they're going to have very tough infantry. They rate to have horse archers, javelin throwing motherfuckers, the Aserai Ferris, and then probably, just plenty of tough infantry with these kingdoms attacking us. Oh, and I forgot, of course, Battanian field champ archers. This is pretty potent mix of armies. Now this is happening a lot to us. People are surprised when we're attacked by more than one army. Look at these guys charging in. Let's show them what hubris, the definition of hubris is charging us with your flag out there, buddy. This is happening more and more, though. We'll wheel back here behind our cav screen. And that's because we're at war with the whole map. If you're not familiar with the campaign, if this is the first episode you've watched, you're in for a treat. You're in for a huge battle, and that's because very, very late in our Bannerlord campaign, we're at war with all 8 kingdoms, everybody. So they got horse archers charging in here, and there's heavy cav mixed in. We're just going to try to cleave a path through this and press them back. We don't want these guys getting deep into our archers where they'll do a lot of damage, so we're going to try to pincher them between our 2 cav divisions. But they're taking a lot of damage before they get dropped. and let our archers go to work here. Archers are probably the main foundation of our army. Between that and high-level companions, you know, again, anybody watching who's familiar with the channel, I won't spend forever. But if you're new to the channel, we have about 40 holy fucking infantry coming in here. We have about 40 high-level companions, and we're going to need them because the enemy has a huge vanguard of infantry. That makes sense considering it's Sturgia. We're going to bring cav wings back here and attack this infantry at the same time. We're going to drag them all the way in here, and then basically try to pincher them between our different units here. But frankly, we're just going to have to fight toe-to-toe, because look how many there are. And they're all the max tier infantry. The archers, fortunately, are back over the other side of that ridge. Being down in this little dell has at least saved us from that. So in go our units. The cav is behind this infantry. That should give us at least a little bit of pincher action, but we just don't have enough troops here to really encircle the enemies. It's like trying to encircle a fucking great white shark with a fishing net. Like a little net you take out with your kid on the weekend. It's just not going to happen here. The screen is very, very green, though. We like to see that, right? The screen, the upper right screen, that's the death span from this battle, and it looks quite good. I do see quite a few of my companions getting dropped. The enemy has a lot of lords. They might even have high-level lords in this battle, and so that's sort of to be expected, but it's a little disconcerting this early on to be losing our high-level companions. Still, the screen, I can't complain. It's highly green. I'm jousting about in my normal way. I've got my fastest pole arm on today. This thing is like, I don't know, it's like 90-something speed. It is lightning fast, and I just tear horse archers, horse cav, just tear them to pieces. I got some javelins here for their nobles. We'll do a little bit of a noble execution over here with javelins. A lot of times I like to attack nobles with javelins just because it usually one-shots them, right? Holy shit. Well, there's your elite lord for you right there. That one hit with his one-handed sword, he did 55 damage, and that's with reduced player damage. That's amazing. So that guy has elite skills. We'll let somebody else shoot him off their horse. We'll avoid any more hits like that. That did like a quarter of our damage, a quarter of our health in fucking one hit. Their archers are pushing up here, so we're going to charge aggressively. I don't have a lot of cav. I'm kind of hoping I get reinforcements because this is way more archers than I can deal with. I've got one archer division charging, which is probably not the most efficient way to kill here, but there's just so many enemies. I want to get a sword in the face of all these archers. Right now the power bar, and it's been that way basically the whole battle, is heavily tilted in their favor. And that's also disconcerting. We have hardly any cav sort of chasing their units away here, so this is we're in a bit of a scrum here, and that infantry or that archer division that we sent into the charge. What was that? Is that? Oh, it is. We just got reinforcements poured through the back door here. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to be able to sandwich these enemies that are overextended. It looked like enemies popped out of the ground, and sure enough, not enemies, but allies. Now I have, let's see, 81 horse in the 7th. I've got a new archer division, the 1st, and it looks like I've got an infantry division as well. So infantry sent to charge. We're going to drag this 7 infantry or archer corps, cav corps, and we're going to try to wrap up this enemy here. Nobody's escaping this attack. We're not going to let them regroup. All of their units that are in here are going to get massacred. Most of them already look like they're being butchered. The screen's been green for the last 30 seconds, and we'll provide the little last trampling massacre here to the rest of their forces. What are these horse archers over here? They got a bunch of horse archers at the edge of the battlefield here. We're going to bottle these guys up and look at them just getting shot off their horses en masse. Horse archers that can't move, of course, are fucking toast. There's just 1,000 horses running off the map. All right, we will reset now. We've got this little tiny ridge to tuck underneath that gives us a little bit of protection from their incoming archer reinforcements, and we will await the next catch. What the fuck? There you go. I was gonna say that That did a huge amount of damage to him, and it didn't kill his horse. I think it did 400 damage and didn't kill his horse. I have no idea how that's the case. Alright, so we've got this Knight's Cav division. What we're going to be able to do here is some hammer and anvil tactics. We're going to move our archers back here further. I'm just going out of bounds here for a second. It's convenient. I'm going to drag my archers all the way to the back of the map. Of course, you can still get shot with arrows when you're out of bounds like that. It's not like you're impervious. You can get killed. I actually got killed in one battle. Not killed, but I got knocked down because I was at the back of the map and I got speared. So they have infantry here pursuing, so we're going to kind of round these boys up with our cav. Their infantry is really spread out, and that is highly suboptimal. Of course, if you watch the custom battles or you just listen to any of the videos on our channel, I always talk about concentrating your forces. You don't want to have your infantry all spread out like that. It's basically a disaster. I'm going to occupy these archers here. These guys are really doing some major damage to us. I'm attacking these fucking horses because it seems like every time I run around, there's another fucking horse in my way slowing me down. So we're a little bit horse belligerent today. And now that we have their archers sort of bottled up with these cav, we're just going to drive them round and round in a circle here, carousel style, and mow them down. Of course, I can take out plenty myself, but nothing like 70 heavy cav to wrap up an archer division here. The rest of my archers are nice and protected. They still have infantry trickling in. I can see the enemy still has archers or infantry kind of trickling in, but a lot of these archers rather on our side. Hey, you know what? Let's hammer and anvil these fucks. I got cav following me. Let's kill this fucking infantry that's in here on our archers. Might as well. They've got another big line of cav coming up. This is a huge line, in fact, of cav. It looks like it's mostly cav. We're going to spread out our cav here into a big, long shield wall. That'll prevent a lot of their heavy cav from getting to our archers. Then once they're stood up, of course, we can flank them here. We can shoot them off their horses, and the enemy's going to be fucking pulverized in this situation. They've got a few troops sort of trickling through the edges here. This little chick is trying to get the bounty on the Jarl. We're going to move this one Battanian Fiend group up here for combat because they're low on ammo. We've got another one back there. They're doing good work. We've cut off half the enemy archers with our cav shield wall there. You can see it just ahead of us. And the effect of that, of course, is to isolate the forces that are in front of us here. I've got a member of the 8th Corps swinging their axe almost as fast as me right next to me. And we're going to advance on the enemy and just massacre everything that's still moving. In a pinch with a cav shield wall, Battanian Fiend Champs and other shock troops are absolutely destructive to enemy archers and infantry, right? The cav plow the road. You can see them ahead of us there, just sort of pushing the road. And everything that moves, the rest of us kill. Fire some javelins in there. We are getting away from our archers, though. I don't really want to get too far away from our archer support. So at some point, I'm going to pull back here. I don't really want to go over this ridge. You see this ridge I'm talking about? See the enemies kind of on the other side? If I can stay on this side, our archers can give us support. If we pursue too far to the other side, they can't. This fuck here shooting at us. Alright, so we're going to use a cav screen here as well to get our troops out of there, right? A lot of times when we move forward aggressively, actually, it looks like I've got infantry reinforcements on the other side of the enemy. So we're gonna roll with this because if I'm not mistaken, those infantry just popped up kind of on the flank of the enemy. We're gonna try to pound them with cav and take advantage of the fact that these infantry are like right in the lap of these archers. Look at these poor archers, and they've got fucking shock troops just wading into them. We will bring the heavy cav. We will barrel through here. And this enemy wave, actually, we're going to be able to destroy the whole wave. They're not going to be able to regroup. They don't have any reinforcements close enough really to help. We're going to be able just to annihilate that entire division. They've still got some pesky archers back here, but they've got heavy infantry now bearing down on them. Shock troops are getting shot from behind. This is going to be almost all green death span. Tactically, the enemy's totally fucked there. Of course, they're still coming. The power bar is finally starting to even out a little bit. We're finally, the AI is calculating, like your GPS on your car, right? It's updating, and it says that based on the massacre that's occurred so far, we're now a 50-50 roughly to win this battle. I would happily bet $1,000 that we're going to win this battle, but then again, I am a gambler, and sometimes I lose. We're going to continue to use this ridge. I may pull up at some point, but I don't really like the layout here. It's wide open here on the left, or on the right. This seems like the best defensive position, and one of the really valuable things about the position we have is that we're right next to our reinforcement spawn. Just like that last wave, if we can get reinforcement spawns at opportune time, we're going to be able to devastate the enemy attack. Because we'll have reinforcements like right in their midst or on their flank. It already has worked beautifully once, and I imagine we'll have other opportunities for that. Incidentally, this is one of the reasons it's generally better to play defensive in battles. I don't mean to sit back and cower in a square. What I mean is if you have the opportunity to pull back, if you have an enemy that really wants to attack you, you're generally better off letting them come to you and then attacking them once they're near you, right? I'm not suggesting you just sit there. I'm just saying it's better if you let the enemy come to you on a map, and then once they're within sort of combat range, open up your jaws of death and eat them alive. All right, the infantry's moving forward here. I've got cav kind of piled up there. Holy fucking enemies just poured over the ridge. Well, that's a full wave all at once. It's probably almost 600 troops. No, it's over 600 troops. All right, so we're gonna try to sweep in here with cav. Infantry's charging the front. Of course, there's archer support. A lot of the death spam is going to be archers. They come over that ridge. And just like the previous time, their archers can't all enter the battle. A lot of these archers can't get a shot until they come over the ridge. And once they do, of course, these guys are highly susceptible to us doing what we're doing, which is a cav charge from behind. Infantry in the front, and archers pounding them from behind. Right? Not too dynamic tactics here. The old hammer and anvil, it's been used fucking forever, but very, very effective. Man, these are fucking tough troops. Usually I just cut a path through the enemy. That's more like it. I've gotten much better at anticipating enemy movement, and of course a little bobbing and weaving with 330 athletics, and you really are just like a ballerina out here, almost impervious to damage. I'm actually safer at sometimes on the ground because their archers obviously can't see me, they can't shoot me. So the only thing that can attack me really in this instance are these troops in front of me, and they've got to get through this maelstrom of axe fucking lightning. Got myself a shield now. The death spam has turned kind of decidedly neutral, and that was because that was a really big wave. Our archers here also looks like a lot of them have stopped shooting. I'm going to reassess the battlefield here. You'll see me jump on and off a horse throughout a battle, and we'll kind of see what's going on here. Why are they getting so many kills? I think part of it is just we're so badly outnumbered. We're outnumbered almost 3-1 in this battle. I've got infantry. It looks like I've got troops all the way on the other side of that valley, which is not good. Those guys are toast. We're going to pull our infantry back here again, back over this ridge. We've got this little death factory working. No reason to change our strategy here. I've got a line of cav, a line of infantry, an archers division set up. I've got another archer division that's almost out of ammo, and then I have this strong infantry line that's pummeling the enemy. Still, we're taking far more losses than I would like to see, but it is a massive battle. I guess I shouldn't have said earlier, you know, I guarantee or whatever I said. I said I bet with $1,000 we win. You can definitely lose battles like this. I mean, after all, we are facing 5,000 fucking troops. The moon is in a different position, I just realized, and we've been kind of tinkering on and off with this time pass mod. I've turned it off for some battles and turned it on for others. Typically at night, I'm going to turn this time pass mod on. In this case, I'm very glad it's running because there might even be a sunrise in the middle of this battle, right? We can have the old Rohirrim cavalry charge. Look at this, another huge infantry wave pouring over the edge here. Very dynamic mod, of course. I'll try to list all the mods that we're using in this battle in the video description details. We don't use mods that dramatically affect the game, dramatically affect battle, and things like that. I've fiddled around with RBM a little bit, but I don't have it currently active. So I've got a little cav division here. We're going to continue to sort of cycle around. I'm moving really slow. This must be an overweight horse. We're going to drive our cav in here. We're doing a lot of distracting too. Every time you're attacking the enemy on the side like this, that means they're not shooting at your archers, not shooting at your infantry. Oh, we just got another infantry, or another reinforcement group pop out. Look at this. I've got archers down there. Wait a minute. Those guys are fucking infantry. It says archers, but look at every single guy has a shield. Okay, so those guys get told to charge. What is this group? There's a clump here. These guys are archers. All right, these guys are clearly archers too. So let's move them out of harm's way. Let's spread them out. The enemy's pouring in, of course. And I'm going to try to keep some of this heavy cav off of my infantry. That fucking guy took 189 damage and was still on his horse. That's indicative of a very high level lord on the enemy side. Probably high medicine skills. So I want my units set up kind of right at the edges of this ridge. I hope you can understand what I'm talking about at this stage. There's basically a ridge where the line of sight, I got to get this cav off our archers, where the line of sight is very difficult for the enemy and they have to come over it. Of course, their infantry is going to come over it no matter what. Yeah, these horses, man, this episode, I don't know. They seem intent on fucking with me. So these archers have beautiful enfilade fire down here. This is the new archer division. I've got a cav division now. We could do some good tactical things. Oops, these archers are getting a little bit out of control. What I want is I want the enemy to come right up to the edge of that ridge because we're going to pound these guys. We're going to attack them with concentrated forces and we're going to burst off over this ridge and do major, major damage. I've got an archer division down here for enfilade fire. Enfilade fire. This is flanking fire. Sorry, I used the old school term for it. I've got my infantry right at the edge of that wave. I've got cav behind me, and we're going to try to combine attack this infantry wave. Infantry sent over. I know where they are right there, right on the other side of that ridge. I can't actually see them. We're going to send those guys over. The archer division that's out of ammo gets told to charge, and in we go. Cav following me now. Whoops, that was too much of a jump. Let's see if we can't tear apart this infantry wave. Where's my cav? I guess I'll just be the cav division. Now, these archers are starting to have hand-to-hand combat here. This is actually fine though because they're drawing away a lot of forces from that main infantry line. Screen is almost all green. I mean, that was a massacre fucking encounter right there. When you play big battles like this in Bannerlord, it really comes down to like a series of different tactical situations. You could sort of think of it like a tennis match. And if you don't know the tennis match analogy, maybe baseball or I guess if you're from the other side of the pond, a game of cricket, right? It's a series of different encounters where the total score gives you an end result, right? In Bannerlord, you're not going to win every single tactical encounter. Sometimes the enemy's going to get a really good cav charge, or they'll outnumber you, or you'll get caught off guard, caught in a bad situation. But as long as you're winning most of the tactical encounters, you're going to win battles. Now, in this battle, we have to win almost all the tactical encounters because we're outnumbered so bad. I mean, so far, so good. As you'll often hear me say in big battles like this, the enemy's starting to show some middle to lower tier troops on the battlefield. That's a very good sign. If you remember what I said before this battle, our main army of 1,500, which is about 2/3 of the forces on the field, they have mostly high-level troops. Look at how much blood and dead people are here. This is just a messy, fucking snowy battlefield. Don't eat the red snow. And my polearm is just long enough to hit horses behind me, so if I'm being pursued, or if a guy's right on stride me, I can still wipe them out with my polearm. The key thing, though, is it's lightning fast. This is what I call initiative with the battle. You want something that swings very, very quickly, so that if someone's swinging at you and you're swinging at them at the same time, or roughly the same time, you'll be able to hit them first, right? This is paramount in a battle against enemy heavy cav. The enemy's got another big wave coming, but they're right over the edge of that ridge, right? This is sort of a modified decline ridge, peekaboo ridge strategy, right? We've got an infantry line here protecting troops, and we're forcing the enemy to essentially get very close to our troops before they can attack us. Our archers, most of them can't even get line of sight. Some of them you can see they're shooting a little bit, but you can see the enemy troops right there. Obviously, they can't shoot through there. It's just a huge line of their own troops in the way, and it's not gonna work for their archers. This is another situation where I want to join my men on foot. I do way more damage in a situation like this. And I role play a little bit, right? Like most of your great generals throughout history, when there is a perilous moment in very key parts of a campaign, whether it was Napoleon, Alexander, they would enter the fray, they would endanger themselves, and this almost always, you know, in basically, oh shit, we'll bail out of there. You know, and after accounts of these battles, and of course a lot of them are from hundreds of years ago, but the troops almost always were super thrilled and heartened and enthusiastic about that battle because they knew that their lord, the person leading, Alexander, whoever it was taking risk, was joining them down at their level, right, down with the rest of the sort of lower ranking infantry, right next to them in the trenches, fighting it out, taking spears to the face. I don't need to take any more of those spears to the face, but the point though is that it's a nice role-playing element, and I do serious damage with my axe. So you'll see me dismount a lot when there's a lot of infantry.
Follow me! Soldiers! Arrows! Forward! Forward! Horsemen!
Now the power bar keeps shifting. That thing at the very top in the center of the screen, the larger the size and the color, of course, the color correlates to the two sides of the field here. Now they have 3 or 4 different army kingdom types here. I see blue shields and green Battanians, and there's Aserai yellow. And so what it typically does is give one of the biggest forces the color. So they're green, obviously, we're orange. But it doesn't do a very good job of accounting for reinforcements. So I'm still pretty confident we're going to win this battle. But it says right now that we're losing. Especially this middle tier infantry. My axe is just an absolutely wasting machine. Right? It kills almost everything in one hit. It breaks shields almost every single swing. You kill 2 guys with 1 swing, and it just causes major damage. These fucking horses in this battle, I swear it's a conspiracy. My pole arm is still pretty fast too for melee, but I prefer my axe. Right? My axe is much faster, it's destructive, you're killing 2 things at one time, it destroys horses. It goes right through fucking, sometimes it goes right through a top guard, kills the guy anyway. This is a huge amount of enemy forces here. They're just pouring over this ridge. I mean, maybe that's why the power bar says the enemy's winning. Their fucking forces are everywhere. I've got Battanian Fiend Champs still. These guys are all out of ammo, that's why they're charged. I mean, they're going to be able to do some work. These archers are out of arrows too. They're just sitting back there holding their shield up. So we're doing an all charge here, right? People laugh. F1, F3. In this situation, that's what we're doing because we don't have a lot of tactical options. We're out of arrows. We don't have a ton of cav. This is an appropriate situation to F1, F3 because look at their archers up there. I want to attack those guys. We want to get troops in their face, get a fucking axe into their chest, and get them off this fucking little hill. I've got enough cav that I can sort of blockade them a little bit with our cav. I've got an archer division down in the valley here that's probably reinforcements, but I lose track, of course, sometimes in a battle like this. You don't always see it. Sometimes you're right in the middle of skewering their enemy, ripping off an arm, and you're just not going to see every single time that reinforcements come in. I think once we push over this ridge, we're going to move forward after. The reason I want to do that is because any of these enemy forces that are reforming here, I want to be able to attack them, shoot them in the back, and take the initiative here in this battle. It's starting to feel like we have the momentum. They have a lot of troops here. We're going to bore right into these fucks. very aggressively. Their archers really aren't set up here. In fact, it doesn't look like they have archers here. These are mostly skirmishers. They're kind of running sideways. This is curious behavior. They're not routing either. They're just they're reforming sideways here. They're in a shield wall. Very soon I'll have archers over this ridge. I see our arrows starting to fly. Now the enemy's throwing javelins at us. I gotta watch out here. We'll get our shield out. That was the sun. The sun is up. It's like it just peeked out of a cloud. This battle has been so long now that the sun is out. Gotta love it. What a cool mod. My health is getting pretty precarious, getting pretty low. I can't really afford to get dropped here at the end of this battle because my army, well, never mind, I got the RTS mod. I haven't been using it all the time, but the RTS mod works beautifully in situations like this because if I get dropped, I can simply take over another person on the field and continue to command. We got a little sunrise here, just like I was hoping for, right? Just like the Rohirrim. Now we don't have 600 cav or 6,000 cav to charge like the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, but it's still pretty rad. Enemies stubbornly holding on here. They don't seem interested in routing. A lot of times in battles like this where the death spam is all green, I mean, I can't remember the last time it was this ugly in this battle. Green, 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 green. The enemy's being butchered. Usually they rout. They've got forces pouring over the horizon here, though, so we're going to have to prepare for another wave. Get archers set up on this ridge. I've got horse archers out there kind of sparring with them, but it looks like the enemy's resolved to fight here today. Actually, I like this ridge over here more. A lot of times you'll see me do this. Don't be afraid to change your plans, right? This is not like an admission that you're wrong or something like that. You're gonna change your mind sometimes, and stubbornness has defeated a lot of generals. I've got a horse line here. This is a heavy cav line. They have one job right now. That's to screen our troops while they get into position. You can hear arrows hitting their shields. That means it's not hitting our troops as they're moving to position. I've got a horse archer division that I can charge with. And I think we're also going to hammer an anvil again with this cav unit. The enemy's coming in with a lot of chutzpah, a lot of fucking hubris here. We're going to try to add a little humble to their overconfidence here. They've got archers, but they're too far back, so their infantry is really isolated here. I don't have very many infantry, but we can have them and one of the archer divisions that's out of ammo charge, and we're going to sweep in here around the corner with our cav. It's just an enveloping attack, right? Now, it's a huge force. This is a massive amount of infantry, but again, another hammer and anvil attack here on the enemy. Archers have a beautiful line of sight. I see them raining arrows into the battle. We'll have these guys charge too, just in case any of these guys are out of ammo. They will now charge too. Finishing off the enemy here. Now I'd bet $10,000 we're gonna win. A lot of battles I don't prognosticate about how we're doing. You might hear me make sort of comments, but very rarely do I say what I've just said a couple times. Yeah, we're probably going to win this battle. It's just sort of occurred to me at the time. I wasn't sure at the beginning of this battle. As this battle sort of played out, it became more and more obvious that we had won this battle. We now have a cav shield wall that we're running behind. Somehow that guy dodged my axe. The enemy's still stubbornly hanging on here. I've got a cav line just sort of pushing through them, and it's doing exactly what I wanted, and that's to sort of scatter their archers, right? Make their archers change their mind about holding the lane here. The rest of their forces are sort of coming up slowly, so we're definitely going to have a chance to destroy this archer division before it can reform. They still have a handful of infantry on the sides here. It's kind of odd. bring infantry up here and shield wall. Their archers are still game. They keep turning around like they want to fight. That's fine with us. Our cav could use some more experience here.
Attack!
I couldn't tell if that was our guy or not. I guess I should have swung my polearm. Look at these guys getting drilled by our archers. What do we got here? This is more infantry. My troops are getting a little bit spread out here, but I don't think it's going to matter at this stage. We've got much higher level troops. We've got momentum. We've got archers positioned well. We've got a cav division and horse archers rampaging. This is... I can't believe they haven't routed yet. It almost seems like they're routing and running through our formations. It's really strange. They're like running at us and not really fighting. Let's do one more round of melee here. We've got a horse cav wall in front of us here. That'll protect us a little bit from the archers, from their skirmishers. You can see my polearm is plenty deadly on foot, but the axe is even faster. Now, I really want the enemy to rout in battles like this because at our stage of our campaign, we're fighting everybody, right? I don't really have time. Like in your campaign, when your main force gets injured, you just go to a castle, go to a city, right? You just hang out for a week. All your troops get healed. You get a bunch of experience for healing them. You have a carbonated beverage, have a nice time with it. And then a week later, you venture off into the landscape. Well, in our campaign, fighting against the whole map, we rarely have a week off. And what I mean by a week off is we rarely have a week between battles. Usually we have a battle, and then at most, there's 2 days of travel time with no rest. We never go to a city and just sit there. I can't remember the last time that happened. Look at these guys getting obliterated by our archers and javelin throwers. So in our battles, right, we almost have never rest. We almost never have an opportunity to rest, rather, and because of that, of course, I need to minimize casualties on the battlefield. This is part of the strategy of this whole thing, right? It's enjoyable for me to try to win battles in the most decisive manner. Even in this battle, where we're outnumbered, 5,000 something to 2,000. We're outnumbered 3-1, and barring some last-minute disaster here, we're going to be pretty wildly successful here under the circumstances. Again, we save these companion armies, right? These two companion armies, the reason obviously I'm attacking here, even though it's a difficult battle, is if your companions continue to get captured, they lose all their troops, they lose all that money spent recruiting those troops. In my campaign, it's vital that I have at least, well, not always, but most of the time I have one other good companion army. And that's very, very beneficial for me because that means I can defend the other side of the map and still know that the other side of our kingdom is protected. I look like a fucking porcupine. I've got like 4 javelins sticking in me. Admittedly, using that lower player damage, right? Look at this guy's got an arrow in his calf. That would hurt. Obviously we live longer, but I've had enough support from viewers out there. Look at this guy. He just shot his last arrow, and he's taken off with his big gnarly sword. We're gonna do reduced player damage occasionally. I've had battles against as many as 7,000 enemies that in the battle took like an hour. So you're gonna take too much damage in a battle like that. The RTS mod is working for me right now, but the last beta, the last update I got from the Steam server. The one before this, in other words, the RTS mod was not working for me. So I will use it as often as I can, and obviously that'll allow me to continue staying upright and fighting. But there are going to be other times where we just reduce the player damage, and I don't have a problem with that when it's a fucking 45-minute battle like this, or whatever, however long this took. All right, that's an excellent result. We have two nieces, I think, named Sura, and I think they might even be sisters of the same mom. But we lost one here. That's too bad. But less than 1,000, well, right about 1,000 troops lost for the whole battle. That is an exceptional result under the circumstances. Of course, a lot of their troops routed, but we will certainly take this under the circumstances. As usual, I release all these lords. I've been showing the inventory a little bit more. People are really curious, like what kind of loot you get from these gigantic battles with 5,000 troops. We got some troops here. We got one upgrade. And then the loot. And to be perfectly honest, folks, this is why I haven't been showing it to you. Even these huge battles, this is the shit we get. We get a bent Jareed. We get a dented Executioner's Axe. Obviously, every once in a while, we get really nice gear, but most of the time we get garbage. So I'll keep showing that when I can remember it, but I don't think that's going to excite people too much. It looks like there's more forces here still, so the campaign continues. In fact, I've got to get these 2 companion armies to a city so that they can heal up, and I will see you friends next time.